Hey everybody, welcome to your 4 to 5. I'm Lauren Coleman here with Tim Buckley and
Hello.
Chad Silber.
Hey there.
Most of us back from vacation today.
Welcome back, y'all. This is your
Thanks.
first show, both of you, your first show
Yeah.
back.
Yes, it's good to be back. Even the temperature, not super warm today, but over the past 5 days, I never got a boat. The thing I learned long ago was put one of those little trackers in the bag because I don't trust the airlines anymore. So that's what I
AirTag.
did. A little air tag. I put it in my bag before I
Really?
went on vacation, and on my phone, every time I arrived at some different location, I was tracking it to make sure that it at least arrived at that airport with me.
See, that's what I need to do because I always check in a bag because I always overpack. I
Sure.
always pack too much to just bring a carry-on, and that's one of my biggest fears is losing my luggage, especially going out of the country. Because I've traveled with someone who has lost their luggage while out of the country, and you're not familiar with the area, so you can't just go to a store and get some underwear.
You're not overpacked, you're prepared.
I'm
That's
prepared.
you're prepared for anything.
6 pairs of shoes for 2 days.
This
I'm
is just
prepared.
a nightmare. I mean, watching this video,
know.
it stresses me
Yeah.
out a little bit. The luggage is one thing, but if you're trying to get back home and this is going to be a big expense to you. I know they're going to say they'll compensate this and that. That's going to be an expense for sure.
Right.
If you're stuck doing 3 days of nothing, waiting to get home.
Expense and just quality time spent with family.
Yeah.
I mean, you're cut short of the days you probably took off from work.
Sure.
So, you lose out on that too.
And what a PR nightmare. I mean, everybody right now, Southwest is looking really, really bad. I mean, this will impact them for months, years to come.
You flew home yesterday and no problems, right?
No issues.
Not Southwest.
Hey, maybe Southwest will send us some little treats in the mail or something.
Well,
Yeah,
today
right.
our win.
One thing doctors are against is loading up on that vitamin C. They say using too much of it puts you at risk for kidney stones, which can be really painful.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I didn't know
heard
that
I
either.
did not realize that at all, huh? What works for you when you have a sore throat? We all have to talk for a living.
Sore throat, so the salt water and warm water, that does work. I have used that for
Yeah.
sore throat, or even if you get a cut on the inside of your mouth. Have you ever cut your cheek or bit your cheek
Sure.
from eating?
Oh, in
If
your
you-
mouth,
Yeah,
yeah.
in your
Yeah,
mouth.
yeah.
If you gargle the salt water, that will help to kind of soothe that pain.
I've got I bought a steam inhaler because I always try to figure out what musicians do when
Sure.
they have a sore throat or something
Yeah.
like that. Because I mean, they've got to perform sometimes concerts when they're not feeling the best. And a lot of them will use this steam inhaler. So it's really like putting my face into it and
Yeah.
just inhaling this steam for like 15 minutes at a time.
That's kind of
sounds
like
good.
boiling hot water with some lemon peels, and you can just breathe over
sure.
and kind of open up all your passages.
I think the little candies, the lozenges help too.
Yep, but only while they're still in your mouth. I feel like they never extend past the point of dissolving.
I've done hot water and whiskey too, and that works okay.
Oh.
Maybe not doctor approved.
Okay,
Maybe
I
not-
might need to
maybe
try
not
that though.
before
I
work.
feel like whiskey kind of
Like
gives a
a
little kind
grandma's
of helps
tale. Helps you sleep too.
with everything.
Yeah.
All right, well, speaking of home remedies, this morning our very own Christian Morgan took this video of me having a battle with the hiccups.
Oh my God.
Y'all, I'm struggling. You can see it in the video
Oh,
there.
no.
So I hate it when they happen, but one thing that I do to force myself to stop is I try to do a cough like a before the hiccup to get it to come out
Really?
faster. So that works for me. I'm explaining that to Christian. So this morning I asked you on my Facebook page, how do you get your hiccups to stop? Doris says, take 7 sips of water while holding your breath. It's an old remedy from my grandmother. It works. Christian says he holds his breath as long as he can. Fritz says mustard always helps him. I've actually heard of that before. Andrew wrote, you should bend over forward at a 90-degree angle, but tilt your head up, then take a big gulp of water. Hold your breath for a few seconds after swallowing, then slowly raise yourself back upright. And then Kay said, Lauren, this sounds stupid, but it really works. Hold a pencil in your mouth, long ways from cheek to cheek, and drink some water. Works every time.
You know what's so great about
Is that even possible?
You know what's so great about remedies when it comes to hiccups? Everybody has one, and
Yeah.
they say that it works every time, right? For them.
For them.
Yeah.
And then you I've tried the whole hold your breath for 10 seconds, so I'm holding it,
Yes.
and then it's like, and it still just keeps coming out, even after the 10
that video
seconds.
looked painful.
It was, and it was a little embarrassing because everyone's like, what is that? I said, I'm hiccuping, and then it just kept going on. I was trying to get instructions or help on
I
something
mean, you're
this
here
morning.
in pain, going through something, and Christian just comes at you and says,
Yes!
"Hey, how's it going, Lauren?"
And then everyone's like, that could be a cool story idea.
This is not a supportive newsroom, is it?
So my remedy works every time,
Okay.
just like everybody else's.
Okay.
And
What's
it's
your
just-
remedy?
It's just holding my breath 5 seconds before I pass out.
Okay.
So just hold my breath as long as I can.
Wow.
If I hiccup while I'm holding my breath, I have to start over.
Okay.
And it works every time.
I've tried a bunch of things. You just have to let it pass, I think.
Yeah.
They go away eventually.
Just get through it. Yeah, mine eventually went away about
Not
5 minutes
fun.
later.
5 minutes. We'll be back in less than 5 minutes, so stay with us.
Smart stuff, robots and everything else is just kind of helping our technology just go to a way new place.
It really is. Me and one of our producers were talking about earlier that pretty much everything's going to be a robot these days.
Does it have you thinking of the movie I, Robot? When the robots take over and they can't be controlled anymore?
So I actually haven't seen that movie, but I kind of feel like I already know what it's about without having seen it.
Yeah, like they have all these robots. Will Smith is in it, and the robots obey and do things until they decide that they're not going to obey anymore, and they take over or
Wow.
attempt to.
Sounds scary. Hope I'm not around for that. But my sister, she's an engineer for Duke Energy, and they have these new robots that look like dogs. They actually have legs like this, and they use them to take them to different power plants to smell different materials to make sure that things are safe and cool. And it actually looks like a little dog. It's just missing the head.
Oh, wow. I'm sure they could never do this, but do you think someday they'll have a robot that can read the news?
I think so. I'm the way
Just
that things
AI.
are. If they could get robots to do work, we've
I
seen.
think we're
Okay,
in-
think about the
yeah.
studio. We used to have people who man the cameras. Now
Sure.
they're all automatic. There is a McDonald's right now that has no human labor. It's all done by machines. Have you read about
Wow,
that
I
yet?
have seen
Everything
that.
is done by machines. So I think eventually they're going to have a machine to do everything because then you have to pay less people.
I think we're in big trouble.
What's
I
your
think so.
Yeah, I
What's
think
your
we're in trouble.
backup job? I'm gonna work on a cruise ship. I'm gonna be
One of the
cruise
singers?
director. No, the cruise
Well, I'll
director.
be the singer on
Okay.
your cruise then.
Okay.
Come on,
I'm
babe.
going to make the robots.
Okay, hey, how about that?
I don't know.
I don't even know how to transition out of this. Let's just go to break. We'll be right back. Some of those are just downright ridiculous.
12 grapes.
12 grapes.
Never heard of that one, but I will say January 1st is probably the one time out of the whole year that I eat black-eyed peas.
Okay.
I think a lot of people are that way.
Yeah.
Right? Like they're probably sold out at the grocery store this time of year. Or they got to stock up anyway. Because more people eat them.
Yeah, I don't really do anything. I
So
have-
you don't
I have
believe
any
in
superstition.
Are there any superstitions, even outside of New Year's, that you follow and practice?
Oh, I don't like when a black cat crosses my path.
Okay, I
Really?
don't either.
Don't come to my house. The only thing I do that's a little superstitious.
Okay.
A little stitious is when I'm flying and you're waiting on the jet bridge to get on the plane and someone's in front of you, you always put my hand on the plane. Just a little bit, like a little touch, just every time. I've always
And it
done
just
that.
makes you feel safe.
Well, have
It's
crashed
almost
yet.
like petting the horse before you get on. it.
Yeah, let me touch the plane.
Let's have a good ride here, buddy.
I might have to try
Yes.
that. I'm all about not splitting the pole. I think I've talked about this on this show before. Have you ever heard of splitting the pole?
Like
So if there's
yeah.
a pole and there's 3 of us,
Yep.
all of us need to go in the same direction.
Oh.
And if there's only 2 of us, you're supposed to go in the direction that the oldest person goes. Because if you
Interesting.
don't, you'll have bad luck. And I
Wow.
always do that naturally. You'll see me going out of my way to get through the right pole because I don't want to have bad luck.
That's funny.
So that's one that I definitely follow.
All these little things we follow. Happy New Year.
Think about all of the things that people follow for their sports teams. Like, do you really think that because you wore this blue shirt?
Have you?
I have thought about it a little bit, so I'm gonna be a little selfish here. I would say the best thing that happened to me this year is putting myself first.
Yeah,
One of the
yeah,
things I
good.
told myself I wanted to practice was self-care, pour into myself, and do things that I enjoy outside of work. I think for so long I've always poured, my everything into what I
Yeah.
do, and it somewhat became my identity. So the biggest thing I wanted to do this year was really work on myself, and I feel like I've done that, and I plan to do that into 2023 as well.
Good. That's very thoughtful. I think we're
Be donated to the Goodwill. The organization also wanted to remind folks, if you're going to be donating, some pants or maybe a purse or a suitcase, make sure you check those pockets, because sometimes people they leave cash in there or other loose items that they can't take in for donation. So you don't want to miss out on a check or a dollar you might have in your pocket.
I'll get tips. I I think this is a great story to do because oftentimes I will go to donate things at Goodwill and you just kind of see what people have left there before me, and it's just trash.
Yeah.
I mean, oftentimes it's just stuff that they just don't want to throw away. They think somebody might want it or somebody could use it, but in reality, it should just be tossed in the garbage.
Absolutely. I think if you would never use it for yourself or you would never give it to a family member, you shouldn't give it to the public. That's my thought process when donating.
In this realm, you know, one man's trash is not another man's treasure
Yes.
in that regard.
And there's a lot of great items you can find from the Goodwill. Some things that you can donate that some people might not think about are computers and laptops. They do have a process where they can refurbish the computers and they'll wipe everything clean off of them. I can think I probably have a couple laptops from college just sitting
Right.
underneath my bed or in my closet that someone else could use. They can make it brand new.
And they'll log into your AIM and chat under your. Does that still
No,
work?
it'll be wiped clean.
1992.
Queen LC for life. Hey, Will, that was my instant messenger. But a lot of great things happening at Goodwill, and as I said in the story, all of that money goes to help provide jobs and services and training for other people.
Great. All right. Well, let's get to your 4 to 5 roundup now. First,
Have kids, so usually locked in the bathroom. So I'm sure a lot of the parents can relate to that, Eric.
That's one of my friends says that he goes, I go in to use the restroom. He goes, sometimes I'm just on my phone just
Yeah.
because I need
Privacy.
that time.
Just reading the instructions on the back of the shampoo.
I've
just
done
having
that
a
before, and
mental break.
Drew has come up. And I'm like, what? I said, I'm in the restroom. But can you do this, that, and the other? They don't
that's
wait.
So
Have
funny.
you ever taken a nap in there?
No, but I would.
He does that in the closet.
I would.
instead.
That's right.
Just
Lay
funny.
down before.
I know for me, I wouldn't consider myself an introvert, but being a single woman, I do spend a lot of time alone, and I've learned to have fun, you know, by myself, and I usually do that by working out or maybe going for a walk. I like to cook. You see me post a lot of my recipes on
love that.
Facebook, so I like to cook, you know, play some music, drink a glass of wine while I do that, or even just order a pizza and binge watch some of my favorite TV shows. That's enough to keep me happy.
My wife says this about me, and I think it's true too. I think you're probably like, I have trouble relaxing. I have trouble sitting.
Beacon of light for all those who need it.
I think that this is a great example of how people in the community can come together to find solutions to combat violence. We always talk about law enforcement isn't doing enough, the schools aren't doing enough, when it really takes us, the community, to do
village.
things, the village, and he's using his business to help children. I think, you know, them writing in the journals, learning how to express themselves, learning to understand their feelings, talking about conflict resolution. I mean, that's a great step. So if more people, you know, found their unique way of taking their passion or what they do for a living to help the community, you know, it would be a great place.
Well, and I think what he's doing too, there's something comforting about hot liquids. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
soups and teas, and I think that's like the first step that'll get someone to settle down. Because I actually like tea better than coffee, hot tea. And to sit down and have a cup like that, it's a conversation starter, you know? I love that.
And how easy. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just a cup of tea.
Yeah. And just giving these kids an outlet to talk and someone pouring into them and showing them some
You
attention.
have to start it.
Yeah.
You know, you have to get somebody to start talking and then let the dam
Yeah.
open up. You know?
Are y'all tea drinkers? I know you
I
said
am,
you are.
yes.
So I wasn't, and then I watched Ted Lasso. and
They have their tea every
they
day?
drank tea all the time, and
High
so I
tea.
was like, I'm just going to try it. It's pretty good.
It's really good.
I love tea, so I like loose leaf tea, I like bag tea. So
You have the little metal thing.
I have
that
the metal thing, so I have a couple of them. So I have a cup where I could put the loose leaf and it like strains it inside of the
Oh.
cup. And then I also have like a ball that I can put
Yeah, I've seen
down
that.
into the water. And then I have this scooper thing that I can set on the top of a mug. You know, my
You
family
are
is into
all-
tea. My
yeah.
dad is into tea. My sister is into tea.
I
So
think-
we've gotten lots of gifts for Christmas that are tea related.
I smell a 2 cents coming.
Oh,
Yes,
maybe.
yes, on relaxing
Huh,
tea.
maybe that'll be my idea for Wednesday.
Yes. So have you checked out our 4 to 5 live
You
stream?
need to.
You should do it right now.
Yes.
I'm in here right now. They actually made.
And when I saw the team gathering around and all taking knees, I said, something's up, you know?
It was, I mean, just
was
crazy.
surreal.
And I mean, it is extraordinary to see the NFL teams, every NFL team, to tweeting and posting condolences to a single NFL player. And I mean, they've all changed their profile pictures to Hamlin #3 on their social media platforms. I mean, it's just extraordinary to see the support that has come out in support of him and the Bills.
And you could see them on the field, both teams, not only his teammates, but the opponents, the coaches. Some of them even had tears in their eyes because something like that is scary. A lot of people were also tweeting online that when they watched it home live, they were crying at home. So I think it's great that they did stop the game, because I just can't see how anyone could jump back into something, especially seeing something as traumatic as that happen.
You're absolutely right, Lauren. Like I said, injuries are part of all sports, right? Especially football. But when you see the true emotion and the raw emotion on the field amongst the players, some of these people who are supposed to be considered the toughest people in the world, right? And they're bawling, crying. That was automatic red flag to me that there was something life-threatening going on.
And he's so young, too.
24. Couldn't imagine. 6th round draft pick, only been in the league. Well, this is his 3rd year. He's truly living his
Played at
dream.
Pitt, right?
Played at Pitt, yeah. 6th round draft picks.
Lastly, don't give up. If you fall off, reset and try again. Make it a goal to not have the same resolutions year after year. So I don't know about you guys, but I've definitely had saving more money as my resolution time and time again. And I think the biggest part where I fall short is setting those attainable goals. You know, when you get your paycheck, you say, I'm going to put all of my paycheck into savings. And then an emergency happens, like you get a flat tire, and then you have to dig into that fund. So I think just setting a couple $100s aside, and maybe you get to the point where you save a few $1,000s to the side, but not going in too big, too strong.
So I'm scared to do this, but I want to do it. So I manually put, a certain amount each paycheck over. And I thought to myself, why not have that automatically drafted so I don't even see it? But, I think that's what I need to do, because then the temptation of going, well, maybe next time,
Right. It's like your 401k, like when you don't even see it.
Don't see it, that's right.
I recently started doing that, and you just start to see your savings grow over time because you don't even think about it. So I have it set up to do it every other week. And so I think that's a great thing to do.
See, for me, I would love to be in a better situation financially, but I really just can't get out of the lifestyle that I'm living because I really like it. I like what I spend money on. I like where I save money. And I'm just not willing to budge.
And maybe it works for you. Maybe I think a lot of times there's people who have a lot of debt that they need to pay off. So maybe they do need to change your lifestyle. Maybe you don't need to spend $60 on a meal every other weekend. But if it's working for you, hey, I don't see anything wrong with it.
The only time that you'll notice it is when you get older and you're looking at that 401k. That's when, because I remember at one point in my life I was like, oh, I need to pick up the speed. And I went to a financial advisor and asked them, they said, yes, you need to be putting more in there. So
it'll pay off. I think one of the biggest things is starting to talk with kids about money at a young age, having that financial literacy. So I think talking to your kids, I really don't understand why it's not mandatory in school.
I don't either.
It should be.
I made my kids when they got into high school, I said, let's show a budget. Like, how much is, here's what our power bill is. And they're like, oh my gosh, right?
So we can't have McDonald's every night?
Right.
Yes, if you want to keep the lights on, you cannot have a 4-piece McNugget.
You can eat your McRibs in the dark. You have a choice. We'll be right back.